Yeah, so I found some old writings that I had done, channeled information and stuff in. It was in a notebook, and I so when I was cleaning up, I took some of the notes because I like to read some of the old stuff. Usually, it's a lot of things that are the same things that we keep, over and over. They keep telling us, but either we're too stubborn, or we forget about it, or we fight it, that we don't implement it in our lives. And but this particular thing was on expectations, and it was how to limit your expectations because otherwise um, you're putting structure around something that needs to blossom.
Or that you don't even have control over.
Yeah, it can go in any direction. So
It's like trying to contain water almost.
right, exactly. You're trying to contain water where it just might be more beautiful if you just let it go. And I think that's true because we've all had experiences where we have expectations. I go, oh, this weekend, or I'm going away in 6 months. I'm going to go skiing or something like that. It's going to be great, blah, blah, blah. And then, it's a day in January where it's 45 degrees. There's no snow and, the kids are fighting or something like that. And all of a sudden you're like really, really bummed out and disappointed instead of realizing, oh, wait a minute. I still have this time off. I'm still with my family. I'm still in the mountains and I could still have a wonderful time, except your expectations won't allow you to have that. So I think that's what Spirit was saying is do it because you love it and enjoy it, but don't put don't put parameters on it. Don't put,
Don't put it on lockdown so much that if one thing doesn't go in accordance with that, everything unravels.
Right. Yeah. Don't give up the whole thing just because, don't put conditions on it. Don't put conditions on it and expectations.
That was a big experience I had at a Tony Robbins event. So last year I was part of his crew team. And one of the things they instilled right from the beginning is that flexibility is fun. And they said, this calendar, it's 5:30 in the morning. This calendar is already off. We're already changed, but heck, flexibility is fun. And that is their model on this 15,000 people event is flexibility is fun. And I have to say, there was so much spiritual synchronicities and so many things that happened, I think, because the collective energy was flexibility is fun.
It flows.
And that we have a plan. But chances are, we know with 14,000 people, things don't go according to plan, and we need to have fun. And I have to say, since then, it's so freeing. Like if something doesn't work out, maybe a client reschedules, I'm like, hey, great, now I've got this extra hour. Or, hey, what can I do? Or what can I, and so flexibility, it's fun, has been like a mantra of mine. Like, yeah, this is great. I mean, that's exactly it. When a beaver builds a dam, guess what? Water is still going to find a way. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And you drive the beaver crazy, or the people in the town or something, trying to box it in. And I think we can get more done and have more joy. If we lower the expectations, we still have our goals that we're aiming for.
Yeah.
And then when they come, it's just like, they seem like they're stronger. They're like bigger presents at Christmas or something,
Yeah.
Because
and it can be even better than you can imagine.
Right, exactly.
Like the glow stick.
I love that expression.
I didn't know this glowed.
Yeah.
Now what? It glows? This is even better.
I love that expression. There are things that can be so much better than we can even conceive.
Yeah.
That stuff happens every day.
Yeah.
Happens every day. There are miracles that happen every day. And because a lot of times we put the blinders on and say, all right, at this point I'm going to have this done. I'm going to be at this thing. I'm going to schedule this. We're going to do this. And, and then when one little thing doesn't work or something, it kind of takes the whole thing down.
Unravels.
Instead of saying, all right, at this particular time, I'd like to be here and do this and that, and then just kind of, and then do the work towards it. And then all of a sudden you feel like, all right, I'm going off here, off stream here, but you have this wonderful opportunity. And I think we've said this in a past show. It's kind of like when you decide, where do you want to go tonight or something like that. You say, I don't know, let's just drive and see where we go.
I've done that, yeah.
And all of a sudden you have one of the best nights you've ever had, or the best weekend. Where do you want to go this weekend? I don't know. Well, let's just take a drive. And those are the best times because you didn't set the expectations. The only thing, you had a goal. You're going to go away for the weekend. You're going to have a good time. But that was it.
And I have to say, that goes along with being in the right space for it. So somebody whose need for control, somebody's need to know, can totally throw a monkey wrench in that. And I think that's part of evolution. I think that's part of growth, and having those experiences. So it's good to say that so that people have something to work towards. Like, hey, you can get to that space, but there are definitely people out there who are like, nope, I need to know the place and what time I'm checking in and what we're going to do. And
yes,
so many
and
times
they drive you nuts.
Yes.
But you can work with them if you can say, all right, listen, what do you want to do this weekend? And it's like, we could just drive and maybe we'll go to Maine, New Hampshire, or Boston. For the person that needs that control, if they're in that relationship, could say, all right, listen, okay, let's decide. We'll go to Portland, Maine.
Yeah.
And then they'll have that, and they can say where we're going to stay. That's fine. But then the rest of it can flow like, what restaurants you want to go to? Because there are a lot of nice restaurants up there, or art shows, or you want to go to the beach.
Compromise.
And then you could still have it, still open with non-expectations so that everything's not like cookie cutter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So think of how many times the expectations probably kill the manifestation right before it happens.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because you expect it to go one way, and if you could just go with the flow, that something even better, greater would come in. And because you change your mood and you change your perspective, you shift the energy. So as soon as it's about to manifest, it's like, oh, it didn't go my way. Oh, crap. And then the manifestation is like, oh, okay, we're going this way now.
Right. It's like your expectation is taking that big boulder and it's just rolling it right into the front of your path.
Yep.
And then you get to it and it's like, I can't get by this path. My business won't go farther. What happened? It's like because your expectations just rolled this big thing in there. It's just saying, instead of doing your work and saying, let's see how it goes.
And if you didn't have the expectation, the boulder would have kept rolling. It would have cleared the path for you.
Right.
And I have to say, having expectations, I think, shuts down your intuition and your natural guidance system because you have this expectation. So
you stop listening. You start thinking, listening to your mind, and you don't pick up on.
And now you're totally out of that space. I recently went to a Taylor Swift concert with myself. I really wanted to go. Nobody wanted to go with me, so I went with myself. And it was funny. I was sitting there, and I was so excited. It was like an hour before the gates were going to open. I was so excited. I found this Adirondack chair outside. I could sit down. I could people watch. I could just do my thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm watching, and then all of a sudden I look over, and there's these clouds rolling in. And I was like, oh, I don't want to give up my chair. It's a good chair. People are going to take it. And then I looked over, and there was another white rocking chair under an awning. And just naturally, I was like, well, if it rains, I'll just go sit under the awning. So I just, again, listened to my guidance. I mean, I could have locked down and saying, nope, this is my chair. I don't want to lose it, blah, blah, blah. So I went over there because the other chair was higher and it was going to be a little more uncomfortable. So I went and sat under that chair. Within 5 minutes, torrential downpours. Yep. And I laughed God, in that moment, I had to be flexible. Okay, you got to lose the chair. And I went over there, and do you know how many people came running under the awning to run wherever they were going and saying, boy, you got lucky, or hey, look at you, good for you. Yeah. And I have to say, I kind of laughed because I was completely dry the whole time. Maybe my feet were a little wet. And once the hour went by, the rain stopped, and by the time the gates opened, it stopped, and I'm walking in bone dry. And the majority of people were soggy noodles. And I just kind of laughed, just be flexible. Showing up at the time that I did, sitting down where I sat, led me to that spot, and I just kind of laughed. It was so symbolic to life. When you're in flow, the universe will protect you, and will take care of you. Like
you say, you guys, you're always talking about being, in the flow or intuition and creating what you want to do, and then Nathan, like you said, by putting up expectations or certain expectations, you just stop that flow. Yeah. And the universe is like, all right, we're gonna help you with this because your intentions was there. You're gonna do the hard work, but then you stopped us because you said that you're expecting this, so we're gonna give you that. Yeah. But by giving you that, you're gonna miss the whole big party.
You could have cut it. You could have been so happy about where the energy brought you to that one chair that you didn't allow the energy to take you to the next best thing. Yeah,
exactly. That said, hey, wait a minute, storm clouds are coming in. I could have just sat there. I could have ignored them. And it was funny because I don't remember that chair being there. I'm sure it was. Yeah. But I was so excited about the Adirondack chair that when I looked over, and it was funny, there was one single chair. So it was almost waiting for me because 99% of the people were there with somebody.
Yeah.
And 99% of those people wouldn't choose that one chair because there wasn't two for
Yeah.
the group. So it was almost like the universe had already set it up for me. And
Yeah.
when I needed it, it was there. I was like, oh, I'm
You
going to sit
allowed
over
it.
there.
Yeah, did the universe set it up, or did you
And I
set it
have
up?
to say, like, and that's what the collaboration,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Because I was setting intentions, you know, help me have a fabulous time. I was seeing all these numbers that resonate. And so the thing is, like, people were in the storm.
Fun, Gladys.
Yeah.
People were in the storm and nothing bad was happening to them.
Yeah.
But the rain was going to make them uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And in that moment, I didn't have to be uncomfortable,
Yeah.
you know, and I was, again, what am I doing? I'm sitting there grateful. I mean, we talked about torrentials and people were like all huddled up and here I am just rocking, little Gladys in her rocking chair, just like watching it all. And I kind of laughed. I'm like, I'm the only person sitting in a chair under an awning.
Mhm.
I'm like, it's just amazing. But that's flow,
Yeah.
right?
Flow.
Flexibility and being able to
Allow it.
really kind of just be open to, hey, it's time to move. Hey, it's time to go. Hey, because I think about all the things, me driving in, where I walked in, like all these experiences that led up to that experience, and so on and so forth.
So you think expectations are really blocks of our flow?
I think so. I think goals and expectations are different. You know what I mean? I think that you can have a goal like, I want to move towards this. This is where I want to be. As you get closer to that goal, the goal is going to keep moving anyway because your energy is shifting, you're changing. But so often, so goals are good. Goals are perfect. That's kind of how you're going to develop. But expectations are needing to control the way you get to that goal.
Right.
And that
Mm,
limits
that's
the
good.
possibilities. If we're limitless potential, which means there's an infinite number of ways to get there, your expectations cut it down to one way. So now
Right.
you have one chance to get there, and if that one chance doesn't work out,
It's
you're
gone.
screwed.
Right. So if you're going on the skiing trip and you are driving and that's it, you're not taking a train or flying or anything like that, and all of a sudden there's this quick snowstorm, wipes out that road, that's it. Your expectations have just stopped that whole possibility of a great weekend.
And
I
what
mean, that's
happens,
kind of a crazy example,
well,
but
no,
no,
but
that's
what happens is to take it a
extensive.
step further is that now, because of that bitterness of not being able to go on that trip, they won't go again. For taking it a step further, they may not, because they were still hurt
Mhm.
by it not happening last time.
and they might blame each other,
Yeah.
and then it turns into a drama
Yeah.
energy and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
If we had left 5 minutes earlier, we would have gotten past that point,
Right.
and
Right.
now it's someone else's fault. You're
And that would
projecting.
be an expectation too. If we had left 5 minutes early, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
We're gonna blame.
If, instead of just saying, forget it, we're in a
And I
snowstorm.
think-
Let's
I
stop
think
at
that's
this little place. I mean, I've had some of the best times in my life, just spur of the moment, and just kind of like, hey, let's just do this, or in a situation like that just played out when you didn't have expectations, and they were like really great times.
like getting your haircut today.
That was different. That was just like meant to be to sit down with that lady. You know, I mean, I had expectation to get a haircut, but I didn't. You know, I think there were other things that were to play out. But I think the expectations we're talking about is with growth or planning or where
That's
we.
the same thing because you're in the flow. You know, you're in the
Yeah,
flow.
you're in the flow.
And being there, some people would go into a situation like that and being like, I'm just here to get my haircut.
Because
I don't
you
want to
didn't
get
have an
involved in.
appointment, you didn't call ahead, you just basically showed up, right?
You
Right.
said, like, I think I should get this before I go.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And because you
there was
decided
no one
to
there. I
show
figured,
up,
right.
you had an incredible experience. You actually connected with somebody who really needed you in that moment.
Yeah.
And really, you received validation in that space as well.
Yeah. It was really cool.
Should probably say real quick because people don't know what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
tell the story.
Real quick.
Well, basically, I had stopped to get a haircut, before I came to shoot this segment, and there was no one in the. Maybe one person was in the place, so I said, can I get a haircut, like just a walk-in? They said, yeah, sure, sit down. So there was one lady, she was cutting a young boy's hair, so I figured it'd be a few minutes, not too bad. I figured I wouldn't be too late for these guys, and a lady came out of the back room and said to me, Joe, you all set? I'm like, oh, sure. So she led me into the back room, past all the other, stations, hair stations, and she said, "No, keep following me." I was way in the back room, and she had a private office. So I sat down and I laughed on how.
VIP.
Yep.
Yeah, right. So it was a private office, and I'm like laughing. I'm like, "Boy, you must know the owner or something because, you get your own private space here." And so we just kind of giggled and laughed and stuff.
Even that in of itself, like, what are the odds that you
Yeah.
guys are led to the back
The very back
privately?
in a private room.
Yep.
I mean, I've getting haircuts for a long time. I don't think I've ever
Long
done it
time.
in a small.
Joe's an old guy.
Yeah,
A long
a
time.
long time. But I've never done it in a private room.
Yep.
And so it was pretty cool. And so we were laughing about that. And then just, what do you do for a living and stuff? And then we started talking about, I write books and what kind of books. And I said, oh, the afterlife. And then things kind of just, we both realized that it was meant to be at this particular moment because she shared some things that were going on in her life and her family's life about people that had recently passed over. And for the next probably 35 minutes, we just went off on this particular subject and some of the things I write about with signs. And so she validated some of the things that I'm writing in my current book, and always connected for people who have lost children. And I gave her some good validations for some of the things that are going on with her family and the loss of a loved one. So it was just kind of like, it was unexpected. Mm-hmm. And it just played out because I think I was in the flow. And like I said, it was synchronicity. It was meant to be, but I allowed it to be. Mm-hmm. If I had gone in
but
there.
Do you feel like your inner guidance was like, hey, you should get a haircut? And you just kind of naturally listened to it. And it just all kind of, like, a part of me wonders, like, how much is divine guidance there and people ignore it? Like, you could have said, oh, I don't want to be late, blah, blah, I'm not going to get the haircut. And the thing is, you could have come here. You could have and never knew.
I went by my usual place where I get a cut, and they were closed today.
Interesting.
Closed on Mondays.
See, more.
So, because I was trying to get one the last couple of days, and I was like, nope, they were closed. So I said, you know something? I'll stop on this place because it's on the way. It's like in Swansea or Seekonk or something. It's on the way to the studio here. And I said, it'd be perfect.
Yep.
And
so think about everything that went into the timing that you left, even leading up to like the other places being closed, you driving at the time you did, getting there at the time you did. I mean, there's so much more to that just isn't coincidence. Like that.
A guy came in after me too and said, oh, can I get a walk-in haircut? And the lady's like, yeah, sure, but it's going to be a little bit because we have, she's doing this one, and then we have this man here, and then that lady. And he said, well, I'll have to come back tomorrow. And he came in probably like 3 to 4 minutes after me.
Yep.
That's amazing.
So if he had been there and I had walked in and they said, oh, it'd be about 35 minutes, I would have said, I'll be back tomorrow and come up here.
Yep.
And this never would have happened.
Exactly.
And that's the thing is, like, has the universe already orchestrated that, knowing that Joe would listen?
Well, I think
what if he didn't listen? Like, what happens in that?
Well, I think that it's not that it's like pre-planned, but I think it's one of those things where, she had a desire. Joe was open, matched that desire, and you had a desire that she also could fulfill. Your desire was the haircut,
and she's a hairdresser.
She's a hairdresser,
and
so law of attraction pulls you together. And so I think that's what, and I think a lot of synchronicity
is. I have to say, with him, like, well, let's go back further with his places being closed and driving by and all that stuff. Like, does the universe conspiring have anything to do with that, or is it still law of attraction?
Because I went by.
Well, it's always law of attraction, but
I think it's the same.
At what point does it become the magnet? Has the magnet been like days before? Is it?
I mean, I think it's. I like to look at the universe like this, almost like this computer program, and variables are constantly being added based on our decisions, and it's just putting things together, putting pieces together, and so it could have been one of those things where if Joe didn't talk to her now, maybe somehow she would have found his book, or somebody else would have come in.
That's true.
There's a lot of different ways that the connection could have been made.
When I went by my original hair barber, I was thinking, early in the day, I'll stop and get my hair cut where I did on the way up. But then I happen to be in the neighborhood of where my barber is, and I said, oh, I'm right here on the street. I'll go by. If he's open, if he's there, he can take me. I'll do it now.
Yep.
So I wouldn't have gone to where I did, but he was closed, and the rest is played out what was supposed to happen.
And the thing is, too, because you were flexible, you had this experience. If he was like, I have to see my barber, and this is the one I have to go to, and I got to call, and I got to make an appointment, it really does eliminate the joy and the fun in these types of experiences.
Yeah.
That's right, because that never would have happened.
Yeah.
So flexibility is fun.
Definitely.
That is a great example. Imagine that. Part of what happened is part of our examples
And
that
you
we're
weren't
giving.
upset? Like, it didn't drive you nuts that your barber was closed? God, that guy, he's not open. I'm never going to go there again. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people go there in those experiences. And it's like they trap themselves in what could be something even better.
Yes. I mean, I went by, I'm like, man, you're always closed. I'm like, but it's Mondays. I can see it because they work weekends.
Yeah.
So I can see them taking Mondays off and stuff.
A lot of times they'll do Sunday, Monday. Or
Right. So I figured, we'll give it a shot in this other one. But as soon as she said that, I just had the feeling when I was sitting in that chair, it was something, it was meant to be.
You felt
And
that like, oh, here we
yes,
go.
yeah, here we go. And I said it to her. I said, I don't believe in coincidence. And she said, I don't either. And I said, here we go. I
I
said,
love it.
we're off. Where's this one going to go?
Yeah. But that's the way.
And I don't think we've heard the end of it.
Oh, probably not.
No,
I'm
you've
sure you
opened
haven't.
space now.
No, I
for-
have her card now. So I'll go back to her. And who knows where it'll lead.
Yeah. Absolutely. And because you don't have expectations on it, the universe is free to fill that in for you.
I won't have expectations because I won't know. Or maybe me going back there is an expectation that something will happen.
Oh.
You
Well,
just have
So
to
maybe I
play
go
out.
back with the expectation that I just get a great haircut.
You might not even see her next time.
No, I would make an appointment with her, but she's got hot towels. So that's my biggest expectation. I get a haircut and a hot towel. I'll take it.
What's a hot towel?
It's a nice warm towel. They steam it and they put it on your face.
Oh, really?
I'm just like, yeah,
Oh.
it's nice.
So Joe's getting the spa treatment when we're laboring to set up
Yeah,
the studio.
I'm getting a spot treatment.
What are we doing?
She goes,
What's
something.
in our vibration? Hard work.
She said people order it, and she goes, the last guy in here, I forgot to give it to him, so I have an extra one.
Oh.
And I'm like, she goes, would you like it? I'm like, yeah, giddy up, baby.
There you go. So even that was,
bonus.
Yeah.
something that normally you wouldn't have had that experience.
No, I haven't had one of those in a long time. Feels so nice. Oh, it's like- it really is. It's like a 3-minute meditation that just puts you in the zone.
Oh.
So, yeah, I'll be going back. That'll be my expectation. We'll see what else happens. To be continued on another segment.
The next episode of Joe's Haircut.
Joe's haircut. But we could do it with anything.
Yeah.
Going to the store. I had to pick up some stuff at the groceries. Decided, and just see how it plays out. But I think like on the big stuff, where we get into the drama, work, businesses, relationships, all the big stuff with expectations. I think if we lowered those expectations and let a little bit more freedom of the universe and our path play out, I think there could be some unexpected joy that we could run into. And that's the adventure of life.
Hi everybody, if you like what you watched, please subscribe on YouTube and like us on Facebook. And check out our website at alwaysconsiderthesource.com.
Hey, if you want us to come out to your location and do a live setup, we'd love to do that. Continue to send in your questions, and we look forward to interacting with you.
And remember, always consider the source.